combined CPF, my wife and I. So I'm now 48 years old. So because we continue to work, we contribute CPF, and we actively top up, we now have more than $1 million on CPF. In fact, now at 48 years old, what is our CPF account right now? Okay, this is how much we have. We got $1.34 million, and this doesn't include the money I pay for my housing. Right? This is CPF money. Okay, so someone asked, so Mr. Lu, you 1.34 million right now. So by the time you reach 65 years old, what's your number? That's a very difficult question to calculate. I enlisted help of quite a lot of financial experts because my first crunch of numbers came out some big number, which I don't believe. And then I enlisted, we have a 1M65 chat group. Dragon talked about it in my Telegram group. We're very active there, all volunteers. There are a lot of experts, financial experts there. They answer many questions that you might have about your investment. Should you buy stock market right now? Should you sell? Should you buy oil? Anything you can ask. Generally, there's someone there to answer for you. All volunteers, a lot of experts there. I make use of that group to ask, to help me calculate out my number. So right now, 1.34 million, how much me and my wife would have at 65 years old? Guess what the number come out to be? Yes, we have $4 million, okay? We have $4 million when we are 65 years old, and that's by doing nothing, right? By doing nothing except to continue working, right? It's because we top our CPF very early. Now, what is the detail of this? We'll share in our next talk. But today, I emphasize on 1M65 as a building block, okay? Some of you are asking, hey, Mr. Lu, I also want to calculate, how to calculate how much will I have at 65 years old? Everybody swarm me with all this calculation. Fortunately, I have a very nice volunteer who's an expert. He made an app. And you can go and download in our Telegram channel. Go to my Telegram channel. The Telegram channel, please join, is t.me/lu.1865. You just click on this link, click join. There you will see how to download this CPF predictor. And once you do that, you will be able to predict how much you have. So you will also teach you how to, from there you can infer how much you need to save in order to get more when you retire, okay? So please download this app. So say again, this is the Telegram channel, Telegram t.me, or you go to Telegram, just search for Lu1M65. You will find this app. It's on top of the link. Download it and try it yourself. And it's an incredible chat group that we have because we have got many financial experts, and it is a community. Everybody is volunteer. It's free. You don't need to pay money out of it. Okay, so yeah. So that's what I have as a long answer to a very short question. What is 1M65? Okay, so over to you, Dragon. How do I? Yes.
Okay, good. So, so basically, the second question, right, is very simple. What I just want to ask you, having said all this about 1M65 CPF strategy, my next question to you, all this part of government propaganda, so that or such that to lessen the public, hatred or TL against CPF for not withdrawing their retirement sum upon the retirement age. Are you doing all these things as part of the government propaganda?
Okay, first of all, yes, the government didn't exactly tell us to take advantage. First of all, if everybody were to do what I say, which is to top up their CPF and max it out, I think the government will go pokai, Yeah. So I don't think the government dare to over promote this. Okay. So this is a little secret I'm telling everybody. If you top it up, government, now some of you don't like the government, I understand. Some of you don't like CPF, I also understand. You can don't like the government, you can don't like CPF, but please love their money. If they give you money, you want to take or not? Take, right? Okay. So what the government does is that they give a very high interest rate for people who dare to commit. Then the question is, can you take advantage of them, right? So first of all, I don't think it's a government propaganda to try to take advantage of this 1M65 thing. It's a Lu propaganda, okay? However, that said, the government also want the ordinary Singaporean to max out their savings in their CPF, max out retirement. One of the ways is you could actually top up your SA as well. So that part we are quite aligned, okay? Now, the CPF have, in some sense, chow me for many years. Over the last maybe 4 or 5 years, I think the Singaporeans are generally turned around and say, hey, and suddenly you realize that CPF very good to make money, you know. So therefore, I'm encouraging everybody, the government give you money, take. You know, don't be silly not to take the money. It's so difficult for government to give you money. Our government really only one time give a lot of money, which is now the COVID-19. They give a lot of money to everybody. But in the ordinary time, I think to get money from the government is very difficult. This is one of the few ways I can think of. Okay?
Yeah, I agree with you, Sifu. What happened is that earlier on I did mention that the last 4.5 years, I met 600 plus people and doing calculation, 600 plus group, not people. So out of the 600 plus, only 4 managed to amass huge saving in CPF in their 50s and 60s. However, a majority of the people who are owning HDB, whether they bought resale 20 years ago or probably the last 10 years, and sadly to say, when I did financial calculation, I think likewise it appeared to many of my agent fellow colleagues here. All right, a lot of them or a lot of HDB owners were holding on their HDB, and the best part is that it's not the best part lah. It's the sad part is that they think that they can fully pay their HDB using all their CPF saving, and then they just let the accrued interest grow and grow and grow and grow over the last 20 years, 10 years, and end day, right? A lot of cases where the total amount of accrued interest plus the principal, it actually outweigh the property value and end up in so-called a negative sale. But it's not a negative sale. It's where they have a loss in the CPF or accrued interest and opportunity cost, which I feel it's a bit simple for them because a lot of people are in this category. I don't have the exact statistic, but easily I can find 30 to 40% that I encounter. They're in this situation, their houses are in a negative sale. Negative sale meaning that they lost that 100, 200,000 of accrued interest when they sell the HDB. And this is supposed to be the interest where they should have earned if they put or place this CPF, so-called in their OA, and generate over the last 10, 20 years to generate this amount of 100, 200,000. I feel that it's definitely a loss of opportunity. And of course, Sifu, the next question for me to you is that because we are talking about 1M65, and what you have been talking so far is for a couple, meaning that one person is only 500K. And since inflation is so high, it probably over around 3% a year for Singapore. Is 1M65 enough 30 years later? So my next question to you.
I think that's a very good question. Incidentally, someone also asked a similar question. First of all, when I said 130,000 is for one person, okay? So you put in 130,000 and you compound to $500,000 over 30, 35 years. So that's for one person, which means that one person will have $500,000, 2%, 1 million. Now, first and foremost, I want to say, is $1 million enough? Now, this Dragon asked me separately before and just say that, hey, you can make a lot more than $1 million. Why only sell 1M65? Want to call it 2M65 or 3M65 or 4M65, right? The thing is this, the ordinary Singaporean, I'm talking about every Singaporean, at retirement, hardly even meet the CPF full retirement sum, which means that at retirement, many Singaporeans don't even have much CPF to withdraw out. The government will lock up their CPF, which is about, right now, is about 181,000, okay? They will lock it up because you don't meet the requirement, and slowly disperse the $181,000 to you over to the point you die. That's called CPF life. So therefore, for me to preach a bar so high, most Singaporeans cannot even meet the basic, they give up straight away. So I deliberately lower the bar and say, try to shoot at least for $500,000. Because if at $500,000 means, at $500,000, you take out $181,000, you still have close to 300 over $1,000 to take out and spend. You know, it's a lot of money, and combined together as a family, you can spend more. So what I'm trying to say is that $500,000, I think it's enough if you are frugal, you know, to spend the rest of your life, let's say to 80, 90 years old. If you live a lifestyle that is very extravagant, then even $10 million is not enough, okay? But I think for most of us, you know, we can afford to live pretty decently at $500,000. Is it true that inflation will eat our money? Yes, of course, right? Is it true that for some people, $1 million is not enough? Of course, right? Depending on lifestyle. But for the majority of Singaporeans who don't even have that sum of money, I think 1M65 for a couple is a lot of money already, okay? And it should be enough for you to get by your retirement. Okay?
Okay, good. Okay, Sifu, just one question here. Now, because I actually did an audit with you before. In fact, I did a calculation for myself because for the last 5 years or so, I've been contributing, right, my CPF under the voluntary contribution. And each year, right, the maximum that all Singaporeans can contribute up to is 37,740. All right. Now, apart from the tax relief for self-employed, and this is also part of the saving, where the interest is compounding, right, Sifu? It's compounding. So this compounding effect, I think that is very powerful. I did an audit for myself because right now, this year, I'm 40 years old. So long that I keep this formula all the way to 55, all right? In fact, my CPF saving, right, it can grow to actually more than $1 million.
Alone.
It depends on how I apportion. And
alone.
whether, yeah, alone. And it depends whether, do I need to make this effort consistently every year, or I just want to stop it. So it depends on individual ourselves, how we want to so-called manage our life, our finance, our saving, and whether you want to contribute to it or not. Okay, Sifu, I think important question because I want to clear a lot of people's doubt as well. Now, what if the government change the goalpost? It's very important because the 4% that they guarantee, the 2.5% that they guarantee, even the retirement account of our parents at 6% for the first 30K, right? Is it going to be consistent for the next 15 years, 20 years? What if the interest rate is dropped or they lengthen the age for withdrawal until 94 or 100 years old? I think this is in the mind of all Singaporeans that deter them from contributing further. Probably, I just need your assurance here.
Okay, so at 20 over years ago, everybody also said the same thing. You know, when I first came out with this idea, I started topping up. Everybody said, you see how this government not reliable, they will change their goalposts, you know. And is it true government sometimes change their goalposts? Yes, the government does change their goalposts. Okay, their track record in this area, you know, it's and they do change their goalposts. But most of the time when they change their goalposts is for the good of the citizen. Okay, now, so for 20 over years, I've decided not to hear the naysayers, and I still consistently do it. And that's why today, you know, we have got 1.34 million, and it's rising. But what I want to say is that is it possible for them to change the goalposts? First and foremost, yes. Now, usually when they change a goalpost means, you know, they change, let's say, retirement age, they change the amount of money you can take out, they change interest rate or whatever. Generally, all the changes so far has been good for the country, okay? Is it possible in future a shitty government take over, opposition party wins or whatever, and everything change? Of course, right? Let's talk about chances, right? Chances is low. Is there any investment out there in the world that is risk-free? Probably not, right? Nothing is risk-free. So the risk of this strategy is policy risk. But I think if my personal assessment is the risk of that is quite low. In the event which the interest rate have to be lowered from 4% to 3.5% to 3%, you got to think what kind of scenario is that in the world. Most likely that kind of scenario is what, almost a doomsday scenario. Like right now, right? Like sounds like a doomsday scenario. And even that kind of doomsday scenario today, the government has not talked about CPF changing interest rate and all this. So I think in the event that the government has to lower all this interest rate, change goalposts for the worst, you got to think of all the options out there in the world. All the options out there in the world would have been bad as well, right? So then the CPF then, given all the bad things happening right now, happening in the world, the CPF will still be the least worst investment. So in that sense, in the event the government change the goalposts for the worst, I don't think you have any alternative that's better that you can find from CPF anyway. Okay? Okay, over to you.
Yeah, get me. Now I prepared the next question, right? Is that because the CPF ruling, right, is so complicated. So the next question, the next doubt that comes in the mind of all Singaporeans is that what happened at 55 and beyond? When can we see our money?
Okay, I think Noel Tan has a similar question before. There's in the chat. First of all, many of us don't understand the CPF, and CPF had to blame. We have to blame the CPF board that makes the whole CPF system so complicated, and rightfully so, because they are trying to cater for different group of people, and they have a legacy over since independence. So the CPF is a very complicated scheme. If I were to ask everybody what happens at 55 years old, I think most people also don't know what happens at 55 years old. So at 55 years old, that's what the government does, okay? First of all, they make sure they then pull the money from your SA, your special account and ordinary account. They pull together what we call a FRS, full retirement sum. Last time was called CPF minimum sum. And they group that money together up to $181,000. They transfer that money into RA, okay? And let the RA compound all the way to 65 or 70 years old. And they release the money to you in the form of CPF Life. And I won't talk about CPF Life because it's another complicated thing. But every month you from your retirement from 65 to 70 years old, you'll get a sum of money, depending on what scheme you choose. But above the full retirement sum of $181,000, you can withdraw any amount, okay? In fact, they make the withdrawal so simple right now that you can use Pay Now even to withdraw. Although I encourage everybody, please don't go and rush to withdraw, okay? Because the interest rate is very high. Once you withdraw, you cannot put back, okay? If you keep it inside, it earns the interest from 2.5% all the way to 4%. It's a in the world. Risk-free return cannot find, okay? When you need money, then you withdraw it. So essentially, that's what happens at 55 years old. Now, some people say, at 55 years old, I'll take out as much as I can. Yes, you can. You pledge your property, and I think you can pledge half the full retirement sum with a property, and you can withdraw more than that. But again, that's not my strategy. I encourage everybody, please keep as much money as possible in a CPF because it's making you rich. It's like a snowball, right? A snowball rolls down the hill. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. The minute you take out money from the snowball, it gets smaller and smaller. Okay, so essentially that's what happened.
Okay, good answer. Okay, to add on to what Mr. Lu talked about is the RA itself. Now, RA is retirement account. Hey, hear me? Can you hear me, right? Okay, because I have a wording, my internet connection is unstable. So basically, okay, probably I'll just share what I did for my father regarding retirement account. I think all Singaporeans have a retirement account upon 55. Now, what happened is that upon 55, right, our retirement account is based on the yearly full retirement sum, where this amount of money is being so-called reserved for retirement. Question is that for my father, he belonged to the previous generation, the Merdeka generation, where most of them don't have saving. So he's the one who always curse and swear at CPF. Where can he ever see his money? Because all is locked inside the HDB itself. It's a 40-year-old HDB at Tampines. So what I did is that probably I just share with you a screen. I just want to take the opportunity to share the benefit of what the CPF can help our parents. All right, I just share. Depend individual to individual and how comfortable you are. Okay, let me share my screen now. This is what I prepared last night because initially I don't intend to prepare anything. Let Mr. Lu speak. But I feel that somehow rather over the years I quite like CPF, and the kind of founders for CPF is become from TL to the founders, Ying Hen Chen Ai. Until I'm going to say something for CPF itself. Now, this is the slide. I don't know whether you can see. Our CPF has 4 accounts: OA, SA, MediSave. For our parents, and when we reach 55, we have this account called the RA. All right. So what happened is that just want to share with you the instances. I actually brought my father. What happened is that we can meet an e-appointment with our SingPass within our CPF page. And then upon the day where we reach at the CPF board itself at Tampines branch, within 5 minutes when we registered, our turn is called. And this is much better than you walk into CPF to inquire for things that probably take 2 hours or 3 hours. I think that probably want to go for CPF, you do an e-appointment. My advice to all the friends who came to attend the webinar today. Now, what happened is that I actually asked CPF board, now, what if I top up 90K in my father's CPF? That is RA. My father is 68 years old, so his retirement account only left $1,000. So I asked this question to the CPF officer, and on the spot itself, the officer told me that today, if I'm going to contribute 90K, all right, now they will pay out, okay, a total of 135K, meaning an interest of 45K. That is 50% over 15 years. And every month, my father get to enjoy a payout of $750 multiplied by 12 months, multiplied by 15 years. So this is the total payout. And what does this mean? Because the interest is 45K. You can take a look at my cursor. Okay, the interest is 45K over the 15 years. And this 45K translates to a payout of $750 for 5 years. And to me, it's very simple. It means that for over the next 5 years or over the next 15 years, so long my father is healthy. In fact, the amount of $750 that he actually draw out every month, and currently he's been drawing out $750 every month. It's actually all interest for the next 5 years. And every month I've been paying my parents' allowance around close to $1,000. So it became to me that, hey, right now is Zheng Hu help me to feed my parents. Because the interest is so substantial. The first 30K in the retirement account is 6%, is 4%. And this is so amazing that something that I'm grateful about for this how this RA interest can bring the benefit so-called in a way. The interest is so powerful. At the same time, I have another cases where one of the neighbor who believe in CPF. Interesting. I managed to find people who believe in CPF. What happened is that his mom was having cancer surgery a few years back, and all the while he has been topping up the mom retirement account. Number one is because of the high interest. Number two is because of tax relief. I think every year we are entitled to a tax relief of 7K, regardless how much we top up, 7K, 20K, or 100K in our parents' account. And what happened is that during the time when the mother is seriously sick, he actually wrote into the CPF. That's based on what he said. And then he appealed to release the RA for the mom's medical treatment and surgical treatment, which interestingly that he told me that the CPF allowed. So to me, I have a different perception of CPF. Actually, our government are quite okay. The way the CPF board, they handle things are quite okay. And all this is actually part of our plan to help Singaporeans to retire, which is good in a sense. Of course, this is what I want to share with all of you about RA. I think Mr. Lu will share with you much more things later on. All right. Okay, Sifu, I have another important question to ask you. Let's share it on my part. All right. I have asked you probably the last 5 questions, and just now you talked about that 1M65 as a couple. But I also heard that you have also crossed 1M at 45. What kung fu are you keeping? Maybe are you able to show all of us here, the 140 people that is right now at this webinar? What is your 1M45 all about? I'm very interested to know.
Okay, first of all, my 1M45, first of all, my kung fu is not so secret. So it's simply okay. So in order to take advantage of anything that compounds, the real secret is this: start young. Okay, start really young. Now, I'm glad that Dragons start young. Okay, I was lucky. I met a good financial mentor when I was in my late 20s, and then I did the top up when I was 30. Anything that compounds and compounds well, you start young. The graph will look like this. Okay, in initial years, growth is very little, but the latest year it goes like this. Okay, very fast. That's how a compound graph works. And that's the same for stock market, that's the same for property market, and that's the same for the CPF as well. Okay, so therefore, how we achieve 1M45 is very simple. We top up as early as we can, and we actively top up. We live very simple life. We were very frugal. We were very gutsy. We put money into we put cash into the CPF when we were very young. So when people were having nice trips to USA and Australia, when I got my bonus, those days we have very high bonus, 8-month bonus. I would top up everything into the SA, right? So therefore, it ramps up very, very fast, and we work 2 jobs. Those days it's normal for us. Now I have my own business. I live the life I want and things like that. So really, it's about frugality when you're young, hard work, and start the compounding snowball as young as you can. Okay. So 1M45, I thought I was fast really. No, I've in my 1M65 chat group, I've met many people now that do it earlier than 1M45. 1M39, 1M38, 1M42, 1M40, 1M45 is a bit susa already. My 1M65 group, the 3,000 of them have very incredible investors in them. And there's simply one formula: start young, start really young. Okay, yeah.
Okay, Sifu, any advice for people who are in their 40s or 50s right now? Because you keep mentioning it, start young, start young.
Last time, to be frank, when I give my talks, and as I said, I've given talks to now maybe 20, 30,000 people. When I give my talks in my early days, I'll tell them, yeah, too late for you, to waste my time, right? So, but now I'm different, okay, for 2 reasons. Number one is, most of you have kids, okay? Start them young. So you may not know, but most of us have, all of Singaporean kids at birth has a CPF account. You can top up their CPF account SA from birth. So I've been actively doing that for all my 3 kids. My 3 kids today are 19, 17, and 16, right? I've been actively topping up CPF, right, since they were very young. And that's so regardless of whether you're 40 or 50, if you think it's too late for you, it's not too late for your kids, right? And you may not want to, my take is this: a lot of parents want to give their kids the best. The question is, when do you give them is also important. If you give them early, now some of us like give cash to our kids when they're 20s, I think you spoil the kid, right? Especially when you give a big sum of money to them. I like to give a financial safety net to my kids, but I don't like give them too early. If I give them too early, then they will take away the incentive to work hard. I want them to work hard, right? So most of our kids, including ourselves when we're young, in our 20s, 30s, we're a bit dumb. We meet the wrong girlfriend, we meet the wrong boyfriend, we anyhow spend money. We like to spend money to please the people that we don't like, all sorts of stupid things that we do. But you know what? By the time you reach 40 and 50 years old, all of us become smart. Most of us become smart, know how to, especially in our 50s, most of us become smart, know how important money is, know money, how difficult to make. So therefore, at that point in time, just nice, they turn 55, they get a full multi-million-dollar gift from you that you actually don't need to give them, that you actually only put a few $100,000, and they will have a very big sum of money waiting for them. Okay. The second thing is, I used to think that 50, 60 years, 40, 50, 60 years old would be too late, really. No, now we have got president that are 70 over years old. Now we have got prime minister, they are 90 over years old. The longevity of Singaporeans and the world people are very, 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 very long and very, very high. And more importantly is that we are very active all the way. I don't really know, but recently there is a famous disease scientist that's been briefing a lot alongside with Donald Trump. His name is Anthony Fauci. He's very active. He's defending the whole of US. He's advising a very difficult president who is a bit cuckoo sometimes. But Anthony Fauci, if you look at him, you can't tell, okay? He's born in 1940. He's very young looking, he's very active, defending Singapore. In short, I think whatever age you are, quickly ramp up your savings as much as you can, okay? And just to answer a few questions, is there a limit to what you can top up? Yes. You can voluntarily top up to 181,000 and the limit increase a bit every year. That's how we do it. But your work and salary and contribution will continue to top up beyond the limit. So does your interest in your special account as well. So I think it's something that we should quickly take advantage of. One more question is how to top up the CPF. The kids CPF is very easy. You go to the CPF website. There's a form for you to fill up and top it. And I think can use check as well. Another way that you can do is you go to AXS machine. Okay, the AXS machine allow you to top up as well. In fact, I do that most because the process are a bit more confident in the process. Okay.
Okay. So. Okay, next question, Sifu. I think there are some questions from the attendees as well. There's this question from Ng Chi Wei. He was asking whether is the cash top up to special account is dollar to dollar rebate for tax. So I don't know whether the cash top up is pertaining to your children or your parents or yourself.
Okay, you get when you top up your loved one CPF. I think it was only for your parents. You get tax rebate up to $7,000. Okay. So the first $7,000 you get you get tax relief, I think. So it's but there are a lot of conditions tied up to it. But yes, you do get the tax relief from there. Beyond that, no. To your kids, no. Only I think to your parents that you actually get some tax relief from there. So I think that's something we need to take note. I need to say again, a lot of people like take advantage of tax relief, and unless you make as much money as Dragon Tan, you know, most of us don't pay much taxes in Singapore. Okay, so I think it's important. I think it's important for us to note that I think 60% Singaporeans don't pay taxes. Okay, my wife and I have 3 kids. My wife don't pay taxes for many years because the tax relief from the 3 kids cover for many years. Only recently then she started paying taxes. And so I think it's important for us to note that while we want to enjoy tax relief, tax consideration affects very few Singaporeans.
Okay. So next question, Sifu. By this particular attendee, can you please share more on how one is able to withdraw this investment return? And do you treat this as distinct portfolio, one for retirement, one for healthcare?
Okay, I think it's a good question. First of all, while I say it's an investment, it's not exactly investment, right? So investment, you tend to think of investment as buying stock market, buying a house, and also property and all this. But this one is actually really part of the process really. So what you do is that you put money into your, as I already said, you put money into your special account. When you hit 55 and beyond, first of all, the full retirement sum will come out. The full retirement sum, which today is about 181,000, you will withdraw it gradually over a CPF life. Any amount above that from 55 years old onwards, you can take out anytime you want using a PayNow withdrawal. Okay, so it's very liquid. The only thing I want to caveat and say again, 你拿出来的就放不回的. So don't anyhow take out, Because once you take out, the government, I actually think government is very happy. You take out already, you cuckoo, you going to take out, spend it all, the government don't need to pay you 4%, okay? So government give you money, you want to take or don't want to take, okay? So I think we all have to be very careful.
Okay, so thank you for answering. Okay, the next question from Lim Tuan Teck. Wow, this is very adventurous. He was asking, should we pump everything into SA, meaning leaving OA0, ordinary account with zero? Very adventurous.
Okay, first of all, it's a very good question, okay? I think what a person should do is to holistically look at his entire financial portfolio first, right? All of us need to diversify our investment now. You should put, now what I suggest is, first of all, cut out a sum of money that is used for a rainy day. Now, I used to use the word rainy day, but nowadays I change the word. We need to cut out a sum of money for a stormy day. Because Wapiang, this time around, is not a rain, it's a storm. It's a mega thunderstorm, right? So I used to think, prepare 3 to 6 months money enough. I think now not enough, okay? You need to prepare 6 to 9 months at least, right? So I think that's, and in this stormy day cash, you need to set aside some CPF for your mortgage payment in your house, okay? Just in case you get retrenched or whatsoever, the amount of money in your OA is enough to pay for a house for 6 to 9 months. Anything above 6 to 9 months, you still cannot tahan. I think is something a bit more difficult to handle. So I think 6 to 9 months is something a bit safer. So I will put aside maybe, I don't know how most of us buy HDB, most own a HDB. So mortgage payment for 6 to 9 months would be a good thing to do. Beyond that, I think what I have done when I was young is I transferred everything into the SA. Let it compound as early as possible. Some of you all said, hey, I haven't buy my house yet. Of course, then you probably want to cater some for your housing purchase. And when you're young, it's very difficult not to use your CPF to buy. As your age goes by, when you reach dragon age or my age, then you realize, hey, maybe you can start paying our mortgage using cash, right? Or part cash, part CPF also can. And you realize that the banking interest rate is actually quite low. Dragon, what's the bank interest rate now for mortgage?
Recently was as low as 1.3%.
Yeah, 1.4. So you borrow money, 1.3%, you leave the money on CPF, and you make 2.5%. So you can actually arbitrage the difference, huge. It's almost like government give you money for taking this kind of loan, right? So in short, that's what I'll do. I will put aside money for a stormy day, and the rest of it, I'll throw it in. Once you hit the max, 1M65, keep rolling already. Other extra sum, you can think about S&P 500 investment, and so on, right? If you are able to hunt out a damn good deal in this market crash for property, it's a possible as well. Maybe Dragon can help me hunt, but he haven't found anything for me, so we'll see whether that's a good investment.
I think that typically the fact that property is not going to crash next month or what, no. Neither that there are going to be a hyperinflation next month also because of US mass printing of USD. The good thing is that I think our bank are pretty good. They actually delay the housing installment if you opt for it all the way until end of the year. Excuse me. So in a way that it helped to offload a lot of so-called pressure on those people who are cash tight. But overall, I see that so long that if let's say you are a multiple property owner, excuse me, and yet you have opt for the option where you can delay your money installment to the probably end of the year to next year, and then your private condo and apartment are still enjoying rental from your tenant. In fact, it's actually free cost, free business cost. There's no rental, there's no business cost at all. You're just collecting your rental every month, your rental income every month, which I think that is good for people who are not affected. But of course, the government policy, the MAS policy, benefit those and help those who are really distressed at this moment in time. Which in fact, we don't know how it goes like, but I think that we hope that the whole COVID will end ASAP as well. So life back to normal. And then of course, since the whole thing is going to be extended, likelihood, I think they're going to have more sessions like this, Sifu, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, now, pertaining to the Tuan Teck, shall we pump everything into SA, meaning that we leave OA 0? Maybe I can add in a bit, Sifu, because I actually I attend Mr. Lu's seminar 2 years back, and right at that night itself, I go back home, I turn on my laptop, I went to CPF website, log in my same pass, and I does the biggest decision in my life. I pump in almost probably 100K of my OA into my SA to max up. It's something that I never regret. And that's why I'm full of adoration for him, because he changed my life that night. I actually maxed my SA to the full retirement sum. And till today, right, the 4% interest in SA right, actually outweigh. I think as of today, my total amount in SA is around close to 190,000, where the full retirement sum is already 181K as of this year. So I'm 9K extra. And this whole thing, if I do a simple mathematics, because everything is mathematics, so long the 4% just compound for the next 15 years, and I'm not going to do anything, should I decided not to top up 37,000 for the next 15 years, this 190,000 right will roll over to 330,000 by the time I reach 55. So definitely I have enough to withdraw. So this is something that I can share with Quantic. But of course, by doing this decision, right, you better make sure that in the event that you need cash or you need funds to service your housing installment, probably your spouse should have a sum of money in her OA to help you to service the mortgage installment, because this is a irreversible action, according to what Mr. Lu said 2 years back. I remember. So when actually I click the button, right, I really think hard, just like you. I really think hard. Okay, next question. We use CPF for purchase of home. Would you advise using spare cash to pay off the CPF portion that we use to pay home? Sifu, I think he's talking about CPF refund, right?
Yeah. So first of all, cash is a very powerful thing, right? There's a lot of flexibility with cash. Maybe an easier question is, should you use CPF to pay for a mortgage or use cash to pay for a mortgage? So I'm in the opinion that you should use your cash to pay for a mortgage, or you should, and if you can, and leave the CPF to compound inside. Okay, if possible, leave the CPF compound not just in an OA but compound in the SA. Now, some of you said, do I use cash and pay back to CPF and let it compound? I think that's one possibility. Now, I would say that look at the entire portfolio. There's a rainy day, there's a stormy day cash, there is a CPF safety net, 1M65. Then you want to make sure you have some stocks and shares, maybe some property as well. So you kind of spread out all your investment, so that when market one crashes, the other one's still okay and things like that. So that's essentially how you spread out your portfolio. So I would suggest that you need to first look at the entire thing. What I suggest is set up your financial safety net first with 1M65. Once that is set up, then you can think of using cash to put in either one of these things. Okay.
Okay. So to the question by the anonymous attendee, I don't know why is that anonymous attendee here. I also don't know what happened. Of course, if let's say you want to tap on the CPF interest in the CPF, and then you have extra cash, by all means, okay, you can do a CPF refund, which I did for my wife as well, just to show but if you can do it staggerly when you receive bonus, don't dump in all the whole life saving inside CPF because it's very stressful. All right, you have to take step by step. Probably it can be a 5K, 10K every 6 months. At least you're doing something. There's one question by Jonathan Kong. Just now I saw the formula is using 4%, but I saw on the CPF flyer that it's only first 30K and 60K have 4%. The rest is compounding at 2.5%.
Okay, first of all, the ordinary account is 2.5%, but the special account, okay, for any amount is at least 4%. Okay, then the first $60,000 they'll give 1 extra percent, and then when you hit 55 years old, the extra 30,000 they give you 1 more percent. So just think of it, for special account 4%, okay, and then give you 1 extra percent for about $60,000, and then when you hit 55 years old, they give you 1 more percent for the first $30,000. So you get at least 4% in your special account, MediSave account. Okay, that's how the CPF system works.
Okay, and next question, is this applicable for PR as well?
If for PR, if your CPF, if you do have a CPF, yes, it applies to a PR as well.
Right, yeah. Okay, what is the effective interest rate for this top up or compounding interest, effective interest rate?
Okay, so now you have to use a spreadsheet and calculate, and it's not an easy answer. It's pretty, in fact, you know, if you were to map out not just putting money in, but every month you put in money and things like that, calculate the CAGR is the compound annual growth rate is actually quite difficult. But the strategy essentially is take advantage of 4% interest. So the effective interest rate will be 4% at least. Okay. Beyond that, they'll give a little bit more, one extra 1%, which I just said about it, for your first 60,000. And when you hit 55 above, they give a little bit more. But essentially, it's 4% interest.
Oh, okay. Next two question by Tan Lee Zhen and John Teng. I think their question is about the same. Is there a cap to OA transfer to SA or cash top up to SA? Okay, two different procedure. One is OA transfer to SA directly. Another one is cash top up to SA. Another one is by John Teng. What is the maximum amount that we can top up to SA from our OA annually? I think it's the same thing also.
Okay, so this is a good question. First of all, cash top up to your CPF every year cannot exceed $37,740. Okay, and that's per job. So you have two. That means when you work in you have salary, right? Your salary, you contribute your CPF. So the max you can contribute using your CPF, whether voluntary top up or your through your salary per job is $37,740. Okay, that's per job. Now, many years ago, I found a loophole. If you have two jobs, you can top up $37,700 times 2. Okay, so straight away I go for 2 jobs, and that's one of my secret formula in my 4M65, which I'll share with you all, that I actually that's why we can raise up to 4M65. But essentially, that's what you can do. The max you can go $37,740. Okay. Next is how much can you transfer from your OA to SA? You can transfer up to the max of full retirement sum, which today is at $181,000. Every year, the government will increase the full retirement sum a bit at a time to try to capture price inflation and things like that, so that when you retire, you got enough money to live by. That goes up together with inflation. Now, so it's about $181,000, and every year it goes up by $2,000-$3,000, and it goes up. Everybody, a lot of people cowboy of this huge sum of money. You shouldn't. You know, this allows you to take advantage of it. Okay. Yeah. Next question, please.
Okay. So next question is by Mavis Ling. Mr. Lu, so your advice for someone who is self-employed, reaching 55 years old, should top up to her maximum sum ASAP, rather than keeping the cash for property investment. Oh, okay. Now, based on 2020, the minimum sum is already 181,000, which could be the 5% deposit to buy a new launch, 3.6%, or invest in one bedder, 724,000. So what's the question? I mean, okay.
So I think it's a question of which is a better investment, property or stock market or CPF, right? So that's essentially what everyone talks about. First of all, I need to say that Dragon has actually said that for many Singaporeans, okay, that you actually didn't realize this, but you would actually been better if you have put your money, leave your money in a CPF than to invest in property. The property appreciation over the last 10 years has been terrible. Very few are able to beat even the 2.5% appreciation. So I think it's very important for you to take note that the property appreciation in Singapore, the good old days are over. However, property has two very good value. Number one, it provides a roof over you, okay? And it provides a quality of life that you want. So most of us will at least need a property. Second of all is that property in Singapore generally don't crash as much. Now it did crash in 2000 in a big way, okay, but it's pretty resilient. In short, it doesn't go up much, but it also doesn't come down much. So it will be good as a form of a hedge, meaning that you among your portfolio there's a place for property, there's a place for CPF, there's a place for stock market, and so on. So you spread out investment. I think that's probably the right thing to look at it. But to over commit on the property investment is something that I'm very against. Okay, I'm very against because the appreciation of property is not that much. Is it possible for you to make a lot of money in property? I can think of two ways. Number one, find a damn good agent like Dragon Tan who hunt out a very, very good value property for you, a fire sale property for you, so you make extraordinary returns because of imperfect information. Second of all is en bloc, right? You hang, you buy one property, you gum ho buy and en bloc, you make a lot of money. But rarely, these are very heng sui, it all depends on luck. So I am not a big believer of, I'm a multi-millionaire, but I'm not a big believer of property. I still stay in HDB. The house that you see here is my home. It's a HDB flat, okay? But I put a lot of money in the stock market. I put a lot of money in the CPF and so on, right? So I don't see why, I live in a HDB. I don't see anything kian xiao about it. Kian xiao, what's kian xiao? Very embarrassed about it, right? I drive a 1.5 liter car. I'm very happy about it, right? I don't wear anything expensive on me. In fact, Dragon, I saw him many times. He drives a bigger car than me and wear something more expensive than I do, right? So I think the thing is this, right? Take advantage of asset that are appreciating well. That to me, CPF is a very good snowball. I think stock market at the right time, if you invest the right thing, it's a good snowball. Property, I think it's more as a hedge, okay, a protection against value destruction, okay.
Okay. Maybe I think just to add on, I think what Mr. Lu is trying to say is that if you want something that is guaranteed, 6% for the first 30K, guarantee on, then no need to think a no-brainer. Just go for CPF, guarantee. But if you think that you want to invest in property, I think that you are in real estate yourself, probably for all the clients who are here, you can go back to your agent to look for them. I think they're in a better position to help you to filter and shortlist the right property for you that probably can outweigh that 2.5 or 3% annual growth or even 4% annual growth. Because in fact, there are still people who buy property, they lose money. There are people who buy share, they also lose money. But there are also people who buy share, they buy property, they make money. So it's not about luck, it's about what stock you choose, what share you choose, and what property that your agent help you to shortlist to buy. Very simple as that. But if you want something that's guarantee, a no-brainer one, no risk, CPF, no-brainer. That's what Mr. Lu is trying to say. All right. Now, next question by Jonathan Kong. Do you plan to withdraw your money for your expenses? Just now, Dragon shared he top up his CPF for his father. By what age can you not top up your CPF?
Well, it's really depend on your lifestyle, really. At retirement, right? So if at retirement from 65, most of us will work until 65 nowadays, okay? And not because you need the money to work, but what are you going to do from if you retire early, right? So most of us aspire for a retirement life, not knowing that retirement is the one that actually kills you. So I don't encourage people to retire because you want to keep yourself economically active. You want to keep yourself have a life purpose, and work forms a huge part of that purpose. Many of the people I've known of went for early retirement. They die young because they have lost meaning in life, right? So I don't intend to retire all the way to Kong Ka Kiao. No, I think it's something that I aspire to do. So I make sure I prepare a lot of things, right? I have got businesses, I've got work. In fact, I work 2 jobs and so on. I spread out. The key thing is this: I encourage everybody is that withdraw your CPF only when you need it, right? And that will be probably a time when your when your salary comes to an end, when you retire at 65, 70, withdraw when you need. That means, don't, 65 years old, come 65 years old, then, that's where problem starts, right? Too much money at hand is a dangerous thing, okay?
Okay. So next question. What is your opinion on using SA, special account, to buy insurance to get retirement plan, which could possibly have a payout as early as age 50, instead of government possibly shifting goalposts? Haha.
First of all, I strongly discourage anybody from touching the SA to buy anything, okay? Because it's nearly impossible to beat a 4% return risk-free. If any insurance agent say they can, is BSing, right? It's nearly impossible. And a lot of the forecast returns don't actually materialize. If you go on social media, you'll see a lot of insurance claim now when the poor old man or old lady reach 70 years old, they can't get the returns that they are looking for. Why? It's because when you put an investment and insurance product together, you lose a lot of money. Okay, I almost call it a con job. I think I almost gonna sue by insurance company by saying that. I think investment-linked policies are one of the worst products out there in the world, that you should never do it. And what is worse is that you actually use your SA to buy. Okay, I strongly discourage that. I think the worst, I almost say that there's nothing in the world that can beat your SA in terms of risk-free return. I've not seen any. Don't forget, I'm a very good stock market investor, okay? I also cannot beat a 4% risk-free return. Yes, I can get high returns, but it comes with a huge risk, right? Risk-free, zero risk at 4% return, I 没有看过, right? Can't beat, right? Just can't beat. Can the government change the goalposts? I talked about that already. Yes, they can, but that chances of that happening, I think it's relatively low.
Okay. I think that we're speaking based on our own experiences. We're not against any insurance or property company. No. Just based on our own experiences, what we have encountered. Okay. Now, next question. When you top up by Jonathan Kong, when you top up your children's CPF, is it the ordinary account?
Okay, first of all, I like to top up my children's special account. Right? Why? If you talk about special account, it has most of them have below 60,000, right? So you get 5% return, huge compounding power, right? So I've written an article. If you go to my Telegram page, I can ask the question. I'll send to everybody the link again. My daughter at 16 years old, when she after O levels worked part time, and one day after her part time work is over, she gave me a sum of about $3,000 and said, "Papa, can you put it in my special account for me?" Now you need to understand, my kids don't live normal life. They've been programmed from young to think of 1M65 and so on. So I say, "Hey, why you want to put in this money? Go and spend some of it, right?" He said, "Oh no, this $3,000 when I retire will become $30,000. So increase 10 times. I said, "Sure not?" He said, "Yeah, you yourself taught me how to calculate." So I went and punched a calculator. Oh, it's true. So in short, for my daughter, it will compound 10 times. Okay. So for young kids, it will compound more than 10 times. So if you want to give someone $1 million, your kid $1 million, you probably need to put in $70,000, $80,000 when they are young. Okay. And that amount will compound all the way to a retirement to $1 million. So that's very powerful, right? So that's why I think we should all, do that.
Yeah, in fact, to add on to here, in fact, I did some demonstration during my class. That's in December, January, and March. If today, I think we can top up our children SA all the way to the full retirement sum, right, Sifu? 181K. The maximum we can top up is 181,000.
Yes.
So in this 181,000, right, you'll compound at this 4% annually for 55 years. So I did a calculation with my students, with my agent students. At the age of 55, when our children, our newborn is grown up, this 181,000, you will just compound. You just use your iPhone or your handphone. You just multiply it 1.04. That's 4%, 1.04, and you just click 55 times. You just compound all the way to 1.5 million to 1.6 million. This is something called the compound interest. and it's very fixed. And this is the thing that I hear 2 years back of what Mr. Liu told me at Suntec itself during the CPF seminar. And till now, right, the words still linger in my mind. It's something that won't go wrong because it's mathematics. All right. Now, I go to the next question. Now, what if you are already 60 years old but have CPF and cash? Do you suggest to top up, is it? Yeah, in SA.
I think once you reach 60 years old and you have already took out all your CPF, I think you cannot put in anymore. Okay, but I think what you can do is, okay, this one I need to go back and check, but you can top up your RA. Okay, and at 60 years old, I think you can still do it. Yeah, you can top up your RA. You can't top up much, but you can top up RA, and the RA limit is $254,000. Okay. And then you will slowly disperse to you in CPF Life. I would like to encourage everybody, again, right? Don't touch your CPF, right? Don't touch your CPF. I know you're very eager to touch money, you know. It's just that some people, when the stock market goes up, they quickly go and sell, right? Why do you let it compound and grow, right? A lot of people say when the money is not at hand, it's not your money. Wrong. When your money is at hand, chances are it won't be your money very soon. Because you'll be very eager to spend it away. Okay?
Okay, next question by Ng Chi Wei. Can I ask, is it wise to invest using SA over long term to beat 4%? I think just now you mentioned already, Sifu. Yeah, SA, just keep it as it is. Let it roll 4%. It's very powerful and it's guaranteed, no risk. All right, right. Now, I think there's one interesting question by one of the attendees. At 55 years old, I have enough OA to clear my HDB initial sales and accrued interest. Can I use OA to settle my accrued interest? I think that cash, right?
Yeah, you need to use cash to settle your accrued interest.
I think that I think I get what you mean. Okay. Now, if you have using OA, your house currently has CPF inside with accrued interest. Typically, you can't use OA to because it doesn't make sense. You use CPF to free up your CPF. You have to use cash to free up your CPF in your house, so that your whatever CPF money in your HDB, right, can go back to your OA or SA or go back to your RA to enjoy the 4%. All right, rather than it's being accrued there. Bohua one, honestly, bohua. If you have the cash, okay, provided you have the cash. This one you can do it online. Just log into your CPF. I think AXS machine also can do. CPF can do under my request. If not, if you are not IT savvy, you can go to CPF board once the circuit breaker is over from 1st June onward. Just go to CPF board and you just give them a check. They'll just do the refund for you. 3 working days, because I did it for myself also. Okay. Now, I think there's this mention, Jonathan. What I mean about effective interest rate return was for the top up to RA for Dragon debt. Dragon mentioned 135. Oh, okay, Jonathan. Okay, this is about regarding my case. The effective interest rate is very simple. Because it's very complicated. The CPF back end, they have their own system to calculate. But definitely, my dad is withdrawing $750 back then. Just now I was talking, my dad is withdrawing from his retirement account at $750 every month. So there will be a reduction in the overall amount. At the same time, there will be an interest accumulated. So the effective interest based on a compounding of 4%, 5%, and 6%, definitely I would say it will hover around 5 to 7%, around that, used on the method of compounding for 15 years. All right. Okay. I think there's this attendee here called Jaswin. Jaswin was asking, for private apartment loan, if financed by money installment via cash, how to port the cash money repayment compound to SA? I don't understand.
Yeah, I still don't understand.
I don't understand. Sorry, Jess. Maybe you can just send me another question again, so that because we don't really understand what is this question about. Now, the next one by the is regarding by putting cash in CPF to earn interest and compound interest, one has to forego many opportunity costs such as other investment, business opportunity, etc., which may enjoy much higher return. Your view, please, Sifu.
That's a very good question. So first of all, I agree with you that cash is very flexible, okay? And I think it's more a matter of phasing, okay? So the first phase, what I would do is I would top up, I'll form a good financial safety net first. A financial safety net with 1M65, meaning that once I have this, right? So today, for example, the stock market, right? So if you don't have a financial safety net, that means that you know that, wow, whatever happens, I'll still have $1 million waiting for me. That's called financial safety net. When the market goes down, you know, you will loud, you know, and the market goes up, you'll get greedy and chong with them and things like that. So you'll get emotional upswing. And now when you have a financial safety net built up, you will be a lot more stable, right? You will do the right thing, right? When the market crash, you will buy in phases, and the market rise, you will take the ride with it, and so on. So I think that cash, or is flexible, needs to be put in perspective. Which phase of life are you? So I would suggest that form your financial safety net as early as possible. Now, once I've done that, oh wow, then that's different, right? So once I've done that, then I will deploy cash in the right place or investment. So for me, I use a phased approach. I form my financial safety net as CPF 1M65. Then the rest of the cash I deploy incrementally. First, I first invest in S&P 500. Then after my S&P 500 is invested, then I slowly move up, right? Gradually with cash, I move up to higher risk investment and eventually even become an angel investor. So the risk goes up incrementally, right? So some of us like to jump, right? First of all, use the cash straight away, jump in the stock market, straight away jump this. Then when the market goes up and down, you know, we lose money. So I think investment needs to be done on a phased approach.
Okay. Next question. Now, by Jonathan Kong. So to protect this asset we have in SA or RA, do we have to write a will so that we can give to our family if we pass on before 55 or 65?
There is a default. So first of all, your will does not, your CPF money is not covered by a will, but by a nomination form that you need to fill up. Last time you have to fill out in person, but now you can do it online as well. Okay. So your will that you set up does not cover your CPF money. Your CPF money has to be separately written and covered. It's online as well. Please go to the CPF website and get it settled. Okay. If not, then you'll go by a standard rule called the. There's an Amor word for it. It's very cheap. But basically, it says that if you die, half of it will go to your wife. The other half will split equally among your kids. There's a law. That says it. Intestate law or something like that. Yeah, something like that. So yes, right. That's the right one. Yeah.
Okay. I think the next question. Okay. So by Lloyd, I think that he's talking about now I'm 54 years old. I took 120K from CPF for my house loan. Now my SA is more than 150K. Do we encourage to pay back CPF on this 120K with cash to earn the interest?
If I'm in a situation, if cash, I got spare cash, I think I'll do it so that I can start the snowball rolling. A bit late already in the game, right? So at least where can you beat this 4% return? Right? Where can you beat this 4% return without risk? Right? I don't think anybody in this group is smart enough. Even Dragon Tan, who is an expert in property, right, makes so much money, also don't dare say he can beat 4% risk-free, right? So let alone all of us, right? So I encourage everybody as much as possible to do it, right? Setting aside money for a stormy day and things like that. Okay.
Okay, good. Okay, I think that we get to answer 3 more questions.
Oh, sure.
Okay? 3 more questions. Okay, 3 more questions. I think that let's. Okay. Okay, 3 more questions. Okay, one is by Li Zhen. Now, how CPF disperse us the fund when we turn 55 years old? So how is CPF going to disperse us the fund when we reach 55 years old?
I think we answered the question just now. Yeah.
Okay, how does the CPF disperse us the fund when we reach 55 or 65? I think
I kind of answered the question just now. At 55 years old, you know, CPF will first combine you'll first take money out of SA, $181,000. And if it's not enough, you combine your SA and OA together, take the 181,000, put in the RA. The rest of it you can take out anytime you want. Okay, to pay now, or I think you can go down and get it. Okay, so in short, then the 181,000 will then be allowed to compound from 55 all the way to 65 to 70 years old. This period, you will compound at 4 to 5% to 6% return actually, and then after that, it will be given to you in a form of a CPF life.
All right. And I think that if I'm not wrong, right, at the age of 55, when our OA and SA, right, the government the CPF just squat for the RA itself. This interest rate will continue to run at 4% as long as it is, correct, Sifu? 4% all the way.
Yep.
Yeah, 4%, even until the last day, then on the last day on the earth, the last day that we hold our...
No. CPF life is very complicated.
Not CPF life, the retirement sum scheme. The retirement sum scheme for my dad.
Okay, first of all, it's a bit more, there are two sums, right? Your money in your special account will compound all the way to your death. Okay, that is true. Even OA as well. CPF life is a lot more complicated. It's an annuity. So what it does is that, and in fact, I hate to explain CPF life because it's very complicated, and even I also got CPF people to explain to me maybe about 4 times before I understood part of it. What it does is that they take out the $181,000, let it compound all the way to 65, 70 years old, and then you stop compounding from that point. And then they promise to pay you a sum all the way to your death. Okay, and depending on the different scheme that you choose. From that point onwards, it stopped compounding. And the reason is because they will promise to pay you. Now you hang, right? You live all the way 100 years old, so you will benefit. If you, in that sense, loogie and die a bit younger than the average age of 80-something years old, then you lose out a little bit, okay? But in short, they pull everybody's risk together and promise the people to pay out everything. I just want to say, if you take a step back, it's very important for everybody to take note of this, okay? You should not look at the CPF life as an important thing in your life, which means that because the CPF life gives you very little, right? $1,000-2,000. In Singapore, cost of living is very expensive. $1,000-2,000 is not enough. So therefore, you need to have enough money beyond just $181,000 to be spread over a whole lifetime. So in short, I always tell people, make CPF life irrelevant. Irrelevant in the sense that, you know, I have got so much money that this 181,000 will come with key. Okay, so in order to do that, you need to start young, start investing when you're young. Okay. Okay,
good. The last second question. Okay, second question is from Rosalind. Rosalind, she was saying that she withdraw part of her CPF in September 2018 to reduce her mortgage loan. All right. So what happened is that if I have excess cash, is it good to reduce the outstanding loan or top up SA? Wow, chicken and egg.
Okay, so first of all, I asked Rosalind why you want to do that. Why did you take out CPF to go and pay for your HDB loan or property loan? Your CPF earns the interest of at least 2.5%. Your mortgage loan, if from bank loan, is only 1.3%. Here I get 2.5%. Here I pay 1.3%. You profit 1.2%. You know, it's money for nothing given to you, right? So I would be a bit more gutsy to just borrow money. Now Chinese sometimes don't like the idea of being in debt. Some debt is okay. Okay, some debt is okay. And even in crisis time like this, the debt, some people's mortgage get into trouble. You know, government step in and make sure that all the banks can defer the loan. So it's not so bad. Okay. So I hope that, I think it's very important for you to have the perspective. Next question, please.
I think Rosalind, she replied, she withdrew that time from a CPF to pay for the mortgage loan is because in 2018, the SIBOR rate actually went up. The interest rate went up probably to around 2%.
It did not increase to 2.5%, if I'm not wrong. Okay. Yeah, it was hovering around 2.1, 2.2% whatsoever.
That's a spread lah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the reason, right? Okay. Okay, last question for you, Sifu. Before I think we wrap up the whole thing so that everybody can go for their afternoon tea. Now, I think it's from John. Okay, John was saying that all his OA has been transferred to SA many years back. Or I think that he has made his plan. But probably because he's no longer an employee. But since self-employed now, do you think that CPF contribution by employer is unfair to Singaporean or PR? Wow, okay. As it form part of their cost budgeting, since you're a business owner now, 5K budget to hire Singaporean, which need, and 5K budget to hire a foreign tenant. This one, I don't know how to answer, Sifu.
No, I think it's for a business owner is for me as a business owner is very clear, right? I look at the cost of it now. If the Singaporean, now first of all, there are limits to how many foreigners you can hire, okay? But as a Singaporean, you need to find out whether the amount of money you pay is worth the thing. Sorry, is worth its skill. And then you compare between foreigners and local. I don't see as matter fair or not fair. I'm not here as a politician, and in fact, we should keep politics out of it. I think it's a business cost, but it's the total package of his salary. I think it's something that is very good for Singaporeans that we have got salaries being put into forced savings like this. I need to emphasize again that the salary contribution by your employer goes beyond the limit of the 181,000. That's the only way to beat the limit of 181,000. So I encourage everybody to take advantage of that salary contribution to do that. Now, whether that's not fair or not fair, I think it's not for us to debate. At this point in time, it's policy already, right?
Okay. Okay, thank you, Sifu. Okay, probably I just wrap up with one last question from one of the anonymous attendee. I would like to clarify, what is the benefit of using cash to pay for accrued interest for property? Probably that's the last one. I think people just want to know. I think it affects a lot of Singaporean who are owning HDB, who are only on for the last 20 years and probably the last 10 years, and then they fully paid with all their CPF saving, and then they feel very proud. They feel that they are all debt-free. And then they go around and help people. But somehow or other, when one day they will intend to sell or upgrade, they engage an agent. And when the agent starts to do financial calculation with them, to their astonishment, the accrued interest is 100,000, 150,000, 200,000. And the property value of the HDB can never match or can never outweigh on how this accrued interest grow. And this is very common. I've seen so many, I've counted so many, and probably I think this question, the answer to this question is the best. Probably come from you, Sifu.
Well, actually, you already answered it earlier, right? So, first of all, don't be. There are multiple angles to it. Now, the using cash to first of all, really, before we even, it's very important that I am a person who believes that taking bank loans is better than taking bank loans is better than using a CPF, HDB loan. Okay, that's number one, because the interest is very far apart. Even in worst year, only it's still a difference. Second is that the 2.5% interest compounds also. Okay, it's not as high as 4%, but it compounds also, and therefore the interest when you put it there is a lot. Should you use cash to top up to make that 2.5%? Top up to make that 2.5%? The answer, it depends on whether you can find something that gives you 2.5 more than 2.5% return with a risk that is of equivalent. I don't do that because I got use of cash and we can get reasonably good return, above 8% return or so, but it comes with some risk, right? I have an asset that gives historically so far 20-30% return a year, but the fluctuations are horrendous, right? 1 month it goes up 15%, 1 month it goes down 15%. So you cannot weigh everything the same. You can't just look at return. Now, so to answer your question specifically, if you can find a good asset for cash that can beat the 2.5 return at a risk level that you can stomach, go ahead. If not, if you can't, then what I'll do is I will put money to redeem the accrued interest.
Okay, good. There was this question that come twice from Joe Tan. Please answer this. Couldn't the accrued interest we pay back to CPF still become our own money? Please.
Of course.
Answer. Yes, it still go back.
Of course.
It definitely still go back. It become your money only when the market value of your property is still cover your accrued interest plus the amount of your principal CPF plus your outstanding mortgage loan that is being so-called utilized. But what if there are cases where because the accrued interest of the CPF has been snowballing for the last 20 years, it can go as high as 100 to 200,000, and yet the HDB is probably coming to 40 to 50 years old. The market value of the HDB, right, it is underway, or I should say that the total accrued interest of the CPF plus the CPF that's being used outweigh the overall market value of the HDB. And that's where you see we so-called the negative sale, but it's not negative sale. It means that there's a loss in the
opportunity cost
of the accrued interest that's being earned. So I hope that this will actually so-called clarify the answer to Joe. Joe, I just want to just want to let anybody know is that of course you can choose whatever strategy. I'm not talking about property today. We're not talking about property, but it's just probably based on sharing of knowledge and how my own personal opinion. If you can use partial cash or partial CPF on your own comfortability. But if you are more adventurous, you just want to tap on the opportunity in CPF to plan for retirement. I think that probably that 4% is really very attractive. And I've seen CPF millionaire before. I've encountered not only once, but they're not a lot. Just only 4 of them out of the 600 plus group that I met. Just only 4 of them. And these are people who are very humble, very quietly, and they use very, very little CPF for their investment, for their property purchase. They are using mostly cash all the while. And this is something that I stumbled upon. And then after I attend to the Mr. Lu's seminar, which I have the conviction to conduct such a webinar, or probably a seminar, in fact, during the non-CB time, before the COVID, I really wish to have such a seminars here for all of you to benefit from it. But I think that the CB allow us to have a good opportunity to come here together, and then and for me to invite my CPF 师傅 to come over to have this sharing. I think that this is my honor as well. 谢谢你师傅. Yeah.
It's a great pleasure.
Yeah.
So maybe let me wrap up a few things. Number one is that today we talk about 1M65, the rudimentary of it. And if Dragon would invite me again, I'm happy to share the next level of Kung Fu, which is 4M65.
Are you interested in 4M65? If you are interested, just type a yes. So I'll just carry on and organizing for the next talk for 4M65. All right.
So
okay.
we will share on 4M65. Join my Telegram group. Some of y'all don't know what Telegram is. Like a WhatsApp, but there's a channel. There's a lot of people there providing you investment knowledge and, more importantly, emotional support. And we actually, we're actually a community to help out fellow Singaporeans to become, financially savvy, and hopefully more Singaporeans to retire as multi-millionaire. This is really a social effort. Dragon doesn't make money out of this thing. I don't make money out of this thing. It's really for the good of fellow Singaporeans. And we wish you all the best, and thank you for taking 1 hour 45 minutes to listen.
1 hour 45 minutes, yeah.
To listen to our talk.
This webinar is no commercial value inside, but there's informative, and it's for social good. It's for all Singaporeans, honestly. And it's something that I want to do it for Mr. Lu all the while, since 2 years back. And today is the opportunity. I'll organize, Dragon Learning Resources will organize probably one more session, likelihood next week, for 4M65. 好不好，师傅?
I'm happy to do it. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. I see all the comments. Thank you.
All of you closely posted. Okay. Have a good Thursday, everybody. Hope that all of you really have a good, takeaway today, and share it with your friend, your family member, your children as well. and to your colleague for our next session. All right. Stay tuned for our next meetup. All right. So thank you, Sifu. Thank you. So I see you around.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you. Bye.
Okay. Bye bye, everybody. Bye bye.
Bye.
That's all for today. Bye bye.
Bye.
It's for social good.